I am offering this poem to you, since I have nothing else to give. Keep it like a warm coat when winter comes to cover you, or like a pair of thick socks the cold cannot bite through. I love you. I have nothing else to give you, so it is a pot full of yellow corn to warm your belly in winter. It is a scarf for your head, to wear over your hair, to tie up around your face. I love you. Keep it. Treasure this, as you would if you were lost, needing direction in the wilderness life becomes when mature. And in the corner of your drawer, tucked away, like a cabin or hogan in dense trees, come knocking, and I will answer, give you directions, and let you warm yourself by this fire, rest by this fire, and make you feel safe. I love you. It's all I have to give, and all anyone needs to live, and to go on living inside. When the world outside no longer cares if you live or die, remember, I love you.
Poems are places where we can recognize ourselves and our connections with others' feelings and ideas. And I think especially for young people, it's a time of sort of great emotional learning. And so to recognize that someone has written in verse a feeling or an experience that they understand or connect with is one of the things that draws them to the form.
We all live our daily lives, for the most part, in prose. We communicate in our mundane way, hoping that maybe what we say gets through, and hoping that some of what we say gets listened to without really knowing whether that's true or not. But you invite us with your poetry to communicate and to connect in a more complex and meaningful level.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, testing.
1, 2, 3.
How are you guys doing?
The winner will advance to the state finals.
With wonderful, deathless ditties, we built up the world's great cities.
And hot music shakes the windows up and down the block.
Poetry Out Loud gives young people an opportunity to understand and experience poetry and then to perform it.
Villainy sharpening an instrument behind a wall, but still he fluttered pulses when he said good morning.
The best poems are equal parts mystery and clarity.
Poetry is the music of words.
And the child lies back, his thumb a hummock, his small knuckle buckled with cracks.
Not only to understand the poem, but then to figure out how to convey it physically and verbally.
And then when I want to add inflection and passion into it, that's when I start reciting in front of the mirror.
An empty pair of dance shoes is a lot like the sand. I would bounce tennis balls while doing the poem to see where I wanted the beats to happen, where I wanted the rhythm. Alliteration has always been my love.
This competition has been a part of my life for the last 3 years.
When I'm not doing poetry, I also like to do poetry.
How did you prepare for this Poetry Out Loud?
I just practiced until my ears fell off and my family's ears fell off.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
I practiced with my teachers and in front of the mirror, mostly for my dog.
To be able to perform poetry well, one needs to understand it.
Poems are also places where we can recognize ourselves and our connections with others' feelings and ideas.
For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. When did my colds a forward spring remove? I love people who stand up for what they want or stand up for what they believe in, and I feel like that was very powerful throughout the poem.
We've seen a wild variety in terms of subject, in terms of tone, in terms of time period.
That's how you stay in style, without sticking and not getting stuck.
Star followed star through boundless regions on.
And expires in the intensity of its own fires.
Poetry isn't an equation to be solved.
Sheer plod makes plow down Cillian shine.
That I may rise and stand, o'erthrow me, and bend your force to break, blow, burn.
Creativity is a key skill that our young people need to be successful in life.
There are laws we make, thinking it was us who made them.
Corporation, tree, morality.
Where ignorant armies clash by night.
It's a great opportunity for young people.
Poetry Out Loud is a national recitation program sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation.
And each of today's contestants started in the classroom level and they competed at the school level all the way to representing their schools today or their organizations through a pyramid competition structure.
The winner and runner-up today will advance to the state finals to compete on Friday, March 13th in Richmond, Virginia, for the title of state champion.
Poetry Out Loud provides students an opportunity to master public speaking skills, to build self-confidence, and to learn about their literary heritage through classical and contemporary works of poetry.
This isn't a football, it's a shoe. A man's brown leather Oxford, a cousin to a football maybe. The same skin, but not the same. A thing made for the earth, not the air. I realize that this is a world where anything is possible.
Well, it's definitely a performance skill. It really is an ability to act and share, not only to understand the poem, but then to figure out how to convey it physically and verbally.
So how did you prepare for this Poetry Out Loud?
I practiced with my teachers and in front of the mirror and with my parents and mostly for my dog. And just kind of got their feedback and took it into consideration.
I'm really interested in the feedback that your dog gave you.
I don't really know what else I did aside from practice it.
Learn how to relax?
Yeah, that does help, learning how to relax.
First, I go through all the poems, or a lot of the poems, and read them and see what touches me personally and what speaks to me, which a lot of the poems do. And then after that, after I go through them one time, I go through them again and pick my poems and study them, memorize them obviously, and go through them carefully, looking for the deeper meaning in the poems.
I actually start by going through the poems, of course, and then I pick the one I like the most, and I write it down, and I write it down, and I write it down. And by doing that, I memorize the words, and then when I want to add inflection and passion into it, that's when I start reciting in front of the mirror.
I just picked a poem that I really enjoyed and felt it had a good rhythm, and then I just practiced until my ears fell off and my family's ears fell off.
I did different things to try to loosen myself up. For one thing, I would bounce tennis balls while doing the poem to see where I wanted the beats to happen, where I wanted the rhythm.
I started doing performance because I was terrified of performing in front of people, and so I thought, I'm gonna have to do this one day, why not beat it out now? And so ever since I've been trying to present as many times as I can.
And your confidence has risen?
Yes.
It's a balance between practicing enough so that you feel comfortable and in command, and not practicing so much that there's no wiggle room, because if it happens that you're delivering a poem and it just feels like you're reading, then it's not fun for anybody. So I guess planning for spontaneity to happen naturally. I caught this morning morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dauphin, dapple, dawn-drawn falcon, in his riding of the rolling level, underneath him, steady air, and striding high there, how he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wing in his ecstasy. Then off, forth on swing, as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend, the hurl and gliding rebuffed the big wind. My heart, in hiding, stirred for a bird. The achieve of, the mastery of the thing. Brute beauty, and valor, and act. O air, pride, plume, here buckle, and the fire that breaks from thee then, a billion times told lovelier, more dangerous. Oh, my chevalier. No wonder of it. Sheer plod makes plow down Sicilian shine, and blue, bleak embers. Ah, my dear, fall, gall themselves, and gash, gold vermilion.
I would really love to know, as the students are thumbing through the anthology, what is it about this particular poem that really resonates or speaks to them? Because it really is a personal choice, and we've seen a wild variety in terms of subject, in terms of tone, in terms of time period. And so that would be my question really, is what is it about the language that really sort of grabbed you and invited you into that poem to participate?
Okay, well, I don't think I have a favorite poem.
Good.
That's kind of hard. Even when I was picking my poems for this, I had to spend like so much time on the website because there were so many that I liked. But in my survey, I said that I really like Shel Silverstein because I think that he has something for everyone. Like no matter how old you are, who you are, I just think that you can find a poem that speaks to you that he's written.
It sort of kind of spoke to me and it made sense.
I can really understand what the poet's going for, so I really, it's my favorite poem.
It has an interesting way of telling a full story with a rhyme scheme.
My favorite poet is Edgar Allan Poe, just because from like a young age I really fell in love with the like dark romantic aspect.
I'm actually performing my favorite poem right now. It changes, but A Dirge Without Music by Edna St. Vincent Millay.
Actually, my favorite poem has changed, and it's actually the second one that I'm going to do today. And that's my favorite poem because of the fact of it's by John Donne, and it's just because of the fact that how much he emphasizes the fact of wanting people to let him love and let him be him for who he is, and letting people just have the relationship that he wants because that's what he wants and that's what he loves.
My favorite poet is Dr. Seuss. Anything he writes I enjoy.
I love Dr. Seuss too. He keeps it simple and direct, right?
Yes, but he always has like some hidden underlying meaning of what's wrong with the world, but he always puts it in such a fun way.
Dr. Seuss is the ultimate in poetry, and kids love repetition and they love the music of words, and that really is, so many great children's books really are poetry, and then we lose sight of it somewhere along the way. We start thinking of poetry as complicated or weighty instead of fun and musical.
You want to let the poem, the syntax, the elongation and contraction of the pacing guide you. And so you're really listening to the voice of the poet. Everything that you need is in the poem. Everything is there. And if you attend to it closely, it will direct you.
The Canonization by John Donne. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love, or chide my palsy or my gout, my 5 gray hairs or ruined fortune flout. With wealth your state, your mind with arts improve. Take you a course, get you a place, observe his honor or his grace, or the king's real, or his stamped face. Contemplate what you will approve, so you will let me love. Alas, alas, who's injured by my love? What merchant ships have my sighs drowned? Who says my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my colds a forward spring remove? When did the heats, which my veins feel, add one more to the plaguey bill? Soldiers find wars, and lawyers find out still litigious men which quarrels move, though she and I do love. Call us what you will. We are made such by love. Call her one, me another fly. We're tapers too, and at our own cost die. And we and us find the eagle and the dove. The phoenix riddle hath more wit. By us, we too, being one, are it. So to one neutral thing both sexes fit. We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love. We can die by it, if not live by love. And if unfit for tombs and hearse, our legend be, it will be fit for verse. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, we'll build in sonnets pretty rooms. As well a well-wrought urn becomes the greatest ashes as half-acre tombs. And by these hymns, all shall approve us canonized for love, and thus invoke us. You whom reverend love made one another's hermitage. You to whom love was peace that now is rage. Who did the whole world's soul contract and drove into the glasses of your eyes, so made such mirrors and such spies that they did all to you epitomize? Countries, towns, courts, beg from above a pattern of your love.
I think that young people, and again adults too, need to know that poetry isn't an equation to be solved. I think that oftentimes their early experience when it comes to poetry is to think that there's this sort of fixed set of answers, and if they don't engage with it the right way, that they've somehow failed the poem. And again, to echo what I said earlier, it's not about imposing meaning on the poem, but it's about entering the chamber of the poem, passing through the stanzas, the rooms of the poem, and allowing everything that's there to sort of lift out and direct and guide you. And understanding that everything that you need is already housed in the body of the poem is tremendously important to making poems feel accessible to people, whether they're very complicated poems from centuries ago, or whether they're contemporary models. You need to really know that the best poems are equal parts mystery and clarity.
Mechanism by A.R. Ammons. Honor a going thing, goldfinch, corporation, tree, morality, any working order, animate or inanimate. It has managed directed balance. The incoming and outgoing energies are working right. Some energy left to the mechanism, some ash. Enough energy held to maintain the order in repair, assure further consumption of entropy, expending energy to strengthen order. Honor the persisting reactor, the container of change, the moderator. The yellow bird flashes black wing bars in the new leaving wild cherry bushes by the bay, startles the hawk with beauty, flitting to a branch where flash vanishes into stillness. Hawk addled by the sudden loss of sight. Honor the chemistries, platelets, hemoglobin kinetics, the light-sensitive iris, the enzymic intricacies of control, the gastric transformations, seed dissolved to acrid liquors, synthesized into chirp, vitreous humor, knowledge, blood compulsion, instinct. Honor the unique genes, molecules that reproduce themselves, divide into sets, the nucleic grain transmitted in slow change through ages of rising and falling form. Some cells set aside for the special work, mind or perception rising into orders of courtship, territorial rights, mind rising from the physical chemistries to guarantee the genes will be exchanged, male and female met, the satisfactions cloaking a deeper racial satisfaction. Heat kept by a feathered skin, the living alembic, body heat maintained, Bunsen burner under the flask, so the chemistries can proceed, reaction rates interdependent, self-adjusting, with optimum efficiency. The vessel firm, the flame staying, isolated, contained reactions. The precise and necessary, worked out of random, reproducible, the handiwork redeemed from chance, while the goldfinch, unconscious of the billion operations that stay its form, flashes, chirping, not a great songster, in the bay cherry bushes wild of leaf.
Connect with us the way you have connected with the poet and the poets that you obviously feel so impassioned about. Invite us to think deliberately about how we communicate at a number of different levels. Ask us to listen with intent and purpose across generations and cultures and countries and circumstance, so that together we understand better who we are and we get much more of a sense of our shared humanity.
I'm wondering what became of all those tall abstractions that used to pose robed and statuesque in paintings and parade about on the pages of the Renaissance.
I am wondering, what became of all those tall abstractions that used to pose, robed and statuesque in paintings, and parade about on the pages of the Renaissance,
displaying their capital letters like license
Truth,
plates. Cantering on a powerful horse.
Truth.
Chastity,
Cantering
eyes
on a
downcast,
powerful horse.
fluttering with veils.
Chastity, eyes downcast, fluttering with veils. Each one was marble come to life, a thought in a coat. Courtesy bowing with one hand always extended. Villainy sharpening an instrument behind a wall. Reason with her crown, and constancy alert behind a helm.
They're all retired now, consigned to a Florida for tropes. Justice is there, standing by an open refrigerator. Valor lies in bed listening to the rain. Even death has nothing to do but mend his cloak and hood, and all their props are locked away in a warehouse.
Hourglasses, globes, blindfolds, and shackles.
Even if you called them back, there are no places left for them to go. No garden of mirth or bower of bliss. The valley of forgiveness is lined with condominiums, and chainsaws are howling in the forest of despair.
And chainsaws are howling in the forest of despair. Here on the table,
near the window, is a vase of peonies.
And
next to it, black binoculars and
next to it, black binoculars
exactly the kind of thing we now prefer.
Clip.
Objects that sit
exactly
quietly on
the
a line
kind of thing we
in
now
lowercase.
prefer. Objects that sit quietly on a line in lowercase.
Themselves and nothing more. A wheelbarrow, an empty mailbox, a razor blade resting in a glass ashtray. As for the others, the great ideas on horseback and the long-haired virtues and embroidered gowns.
As for the others, the great ideas on horseback and the long-haired virtues in embroidered gowns. It looks as though they have traveled down that road you see on the final page of storybooks.
the one that winds up a green hillside and disappears into an unseen valley, where everyone must be fast asleep. Thank you.
Arts is such an important part of our education process, and it's one that in this day and age of standardized tests tends to get left behind because it doesn't show up necessarily on standardized tests, but it does show up. These skills you all are working on here today do show up in all kinds of ways, including your success in life. What you learn through self-confidence, through ability to express yourself, and through what you've done to improve your mind will serve you well throughout your life.
And I had always read poetry. I love reading books, poetry, plays, anything. And but I'd never performed it before. So this was an exciting challenge, variation to acting. And I discovered that I really liked it. I like the poems I chose, and it's been really fun.
It's given me a much stronger connection to literature and things like that. One that I never really thought that I would be able to have.
This has really helped with connecting to what it is that you're saying and understanding that it allows you to piece together and put separation in how you're saying things.
I read books a lot, and I love books and I love acting, but I was never really into poetry. And then I got into Poetry Out Loud and I realized how beautiful poetry is.
Meditation on a Grapefruit by Craig Arnold. To wake when all is possible, before the agitations of the day have gripped you. To come to the kitchen and peel a little basketball for breakfast. To tear the husk like cotton padding, a cloud of oil misting out of its pinprick pores, clean and sharp as pepper. To ease each pale pink section out of its case so carefully without breaking a single pearly cell. To slide each piece into a cold blue china bowl, the juice pooling until the whole fruit is divided from its skin. And only then to eat. So sweet, a discipline precisely pointless, a devout involvement of the hands and senses, a pause, a little emptiness. Each year harder to live within, each year harder to live without.
Now this is the moment that we have been waiting for, and I get to announce first. Stand up all three, please. Onto the stage, up there, in the light. Shine it on it. All right. Our runner-up is Miss Isabel Andrews. The winner is Akith Hogan. Thank you very much, Ben. And congratulations, Akith. You're going to represent the state of Virginia, and we are so very proud of you.